Welcome, viewers. This story was shared with me by Elena from Blackbird Creek, Oregon. What happened to her was terrifying, and I still get chills thinking about it. When Elena shared this with me, I had no idea what was coming next. I still haunts me. My English is weak. I am sorry if I say something wrong. Let's start the story. Adil, I used to think their biggest threat to a marriage was infidelity or money. I never thought it would be sleep or rather the lack of it. I'm 40 now. I have always been a light sleeper, the kind of person who hear a pin drop in the next room and stay awake for an hour wondering where it fell. Because of that, I have built my life around a strict route 9:30 p.m. is my cut off. Lights off, phone away, mind quiet. I have a young daughter to chase after 6 a.m. and my body needs that rest. My husband Mark is different. He's 39 and he's always been a night owl. I never minded that people are wired differently, right? But lately, something has changed in him. It started small, coming to bed a little louder, dropping his keys on the dresser. But over the last few months, it's turned it into something aggressive. Every midnight around 11:30 p.m., I'll be deep in a dream. Suddenly, the world explodes. It is not just walking. He flicks on the overhead floor scene light. It's bleeding. It's blinding. It seared through my eyelids, instantly triggering a migraine. When I groan and cover my eyes, he does not apologize. He just starts humming or rattling change in his pockets. Mark, please, I have disappeared. My heart hammering against my ribs. The phone flashlight was fine. Why the big light? He had just looked at me. His face shadowed despite the brightness. I am tired of tiptoeing in my own house. Alina, you are being controlling. Then there are the phone. He refuses to return. He refuses to turn off the notification. Every night, ping pause ping at 2 a.m. at 3:15 a.m. Random group chat, spam emails he won't put on it on do not disturb. He says he needs to stay connected. But connected to what in the middle of Tuesday nights. It wakes me up every single time. He sleeps right through it, snoring while I lie there, staring at the ceiling, feeling my pulse throbs in my temples. Last night was the breaking point. I had finally drifted off after his 11:30 entrance. At 3 a.m., his phone started vibrating on this nightstand. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He would not stop. I reached over, my hand shaking with exhaustion, and saw the screen. It was an unknown number, no caller ID. I nudged him. Mark, your phone. He did not move. I nudged him harder. Nothing. I finally grabbed the phone to silence it, but as soon as my skin touched the glass, the vibrating stopped. The room went dead silent. That's when I noticed the smell. It was not Mark's usual cologne or the scent of laundry detergent. It was something metallic sharp, like pines left in the rain. Left in the rain. I sat up, squinting in the dark. The bedroom door, which I always shut tight to keep the draft out, was wide open. I think grey mist was rolling in from the hallway, hugging the floorboards like it was alive. Mark, I disappeared. My husband was laying flat on his back, eyes wide open, staring directly at the ceiling fan. He was not blinking. He was not even breathing. I reached out to touch his shoulder, but before I could, the overhead light, the one he insisted on using, flickered once, twice, and then stayed on. But the light was not white anymore. It was a sickly, body-hued purple. And then I heard it, a soft, wet scratching sound coming from under the bed. Adi, here, Elena's story taking a town into something much darker than a marital dispute. In the next part, she realized that Margaret refusal to dim the light or silence his phone was not about being controlling. It was about a terrifying bargain he made to keep something else in the dark. Continue. I froze. That scratching sound. It was not the sound of a mouse or a pet. It was heavy, rhythmic, like long fingernails dragging across hardwood. I looked at Mark. He was still paralyzed, staring out with those unblinking eyes. I tried to scream, but my throat felt like it was filled with dry sand. Mark, wake up. I finally gasped out, showing his shoulder. He did not move in an inch. His body felt cold. Now just sleeping in a cold room. Cold, but the kind of chill that comes from deep inside the earth. Suddenly, his phone, which I was still holding, lit up again. No caller ID. I did not want to answer it, but my fingers slipped on the glass. I held it to my ear. There was no voice, just the sound of heavy, but breathing the wet breathing and the exact same scratching noise I was hearing from under the bed. Scrap, scrap, scrap. Then a voice whispered through the speaker. It sounded like 1,000 dead leaves crushing together. Turn it off. Who is this? I hissed, tear of pure terror blurring my vision. The scratching under the bed stopped instantly. The room went silent. Then Mark's head slowly, very slowly, turned toward me. His neck cracked with every millimeter of movement. When the finally faced me, his eyes were not white anymore. They were completely black, leaking a thick, oily fluid that smelled like that metallic root I noticed earlier. The light, Alina, he said, but it was not this voice. It was a distorted, booming version of it. The light keep the shadow then thin. The light keep the shadow thin. If I turn it off, they get through. I jumped out of bed, backing away toward the door. Mark, you're scaring me. What are you talking about? He sat up in one full mechanical motion. He did not use his arm. His dots just snapped upward. I did not want to tiptoe around Elena. I was trying to find them. They follow the silence. They follow the dark. That's why the phones stay on. The noise. The noise keep them from settling. As he spoke, the purple light from the overhead fixture began to dim. The shadow in the corner of the room started to stretch, growing longer and wider than they should be. They were not just shapes on the wall, they were becoming three-dimensional, rising from the floor like columns of smoke. One of the shadows crawled over the edge of the bed. It looked like a hand, but with too many fingers, all of them impossibly long. It reached for Mark's uncle. Run, Alina, Mark said, his real voice finally cracking through the horror. Go to our daughter's room. Lock the door. I did not wait. I bolted into the hallway, but the mist was so thick I could barely see my own feet. The air was freezing. I reached my daughter's door and threw it open, ready to grab her and scream for help. But the bed was empty. The window was wide open, the curtains fluttering in a wind that should not have been there. On the floor, in my daughter's handwriting, were four words writing in what looked like black grease. He forgot the light. I turned around to run back to Mark, but the bedroom door slammed shut. From behind it, I heard a sound that will haunt me until the day I die of it. Tearing noise, followed by Mark's blood curdling scream. And then the most terrifying sound of all, the sound of a phone notification. Pains. Adil, Adil, it's getting worse. Alina is trapped in a house that feels like being swallowed by another dimension. Marks and annoying habits were actually a desperate defense mechanism. In the final part, Alina has to face the entity head on to find her daughter and find a way to end this nightmare once and for all. Continue. The silence was full with Mark's scream, was heavier than the darkness itself. It threw my weight against the bedroom door, sobbing, screaming his name, but the wood felt like solid stone. I would not budge. My mind was racing. My daughter was gone. My husband was being torn apart, and I had spent months yelling at him for disrespecting my sleep. The realizing hit me like a physical blow. The bright light, the constant buzzing, the refusal to tiptoe. It was not a lack of care, it was a barricade. I turned back toward my daughter, empty room, as if she were speaking from the bottom of a deep well. I ran toward her, but as I got closer, the floor seemed to lengthen. Then the hallway became an endless tunnel of peeling wallpaper and flickering shadows. Suddenly, every light in the house shattered simultaneously. Pop, pop, pop. Total darkness. In that void, a scratching returned, but it was not under a bed anymore. It was everywhere. Thousands of invisible nails dragging against the wall, the ceiling, and finally against my skin. I felt cold, spindly finger wrap around my throat. You wanted peace. The leaf crushing voice whispered in my ear. You wanted quiet. I realized then that these things, these shadows keepers, fed on the stillness of a deep sleep. Mark had been fighting them for years, sacrificing his own reputation and my affection to keep the house loud and bright enough to keep them weak. By forcing him into a confrontation, by demanding the silence I thought I deserved, I had opened the door for them. I reached into my pocket. My finger brushed against my own palm. With a surge of adrenaline, I pulled it out and swept the flashlight to on. The beam of light cut through the dark like a sword. The creature holding me stretched a sound of static and glass and vanished into a puff of oily smoke. I did not stop. I turned it on every alarm on my phone, set the volume the max, and began screaming at the top of my lungs. Wake up, everyone wake up. The noise was deafening. I sprinted toward the attic stair. Waving the light, I found my daughter huddled in the corner of the landing. Her eyes glazed over. I grabbed her, pulling her close and blasted a heavy metal track from my phone. The shadow recoiled, hissing as the vibration of the music shook the floorboards. I fought my way back to our bedroom. I kicked the door, and this time it flew open. Mark was slumped against the wall, his clothes torn, but he was breathing. The purple light was gone, replaced by the harsh, wonderful glow of my phone's LED. Mark, I yelled over the music. I am sorry, I understand now. He looked up, a weak smile breaking thought the bruises in his face. Keep the noise going. We did not stay. He ran out of that house into the freezing night, piling into the car and driving until the sun broke over the horizon. We never went back for our things. Today, we live in a small, cramped apartment in the city. It's never quit there. The sound to traffic stands, traffic sirens, and neighbors are going through the walls. Mark still keep the overhead light on the until 2 a.m. and his phone pings constantly throughout the night. I don't yell at him anymore. In fact, I have started leaving my own phone on too. I have learned to love the noise because now when I hear notification in the middle of the night, I don't feel frustrated. I feel safe. I know that as long as the world is loud, the things in the dark can't hear us breathing. I am finally getting the best sleep of my life, right in the middle of the chores and story. Adil here. Elena and her family are safe now, but they never quit look at the quit room this some way again. It's make you wonder, does not it? The next time your partner does something annoying at night, maybe they're not trying to brother or butter both her you. Maybe they are keeping something away. So everyone viewers like this video and subscribe the channel for more interesting horror video.